يا كل هالعالم في دار تختصر عالم، وقال بوصفها العالم دبي كوكب آخر، دبي كوكب آخر. على كثر المدى والضي في حضرة حسنها الساحر، لكم يا ضيوف دار الحي سلاما يشرح الخاطر. على كثر المدى والضي في حضرة حسنها الساحر، لكم يا ضيوف دار الحي سلاما يشرح الخاطر. هلا يا كل هالعالم في دار تختصر عالم، وقال بوصفها العالم دبي كوكب آخر. بها القلوب تتفيا ومن هالليل يتضيا، لأنها دانت الدنيا وعشق ما له آخر.
My name is Noel Omamalin. I come from the Philippines, and I started here in the UAE around 12 years ago. Life here has been very interesting, and the reason why I came here as well was because of the vast opportunities that I've seen. And I started in hotels, and that's how the vision grew. When I saw there were a lot of opportunities, and I couldn't just get enough of being in the hospitality business, so I said I could do more. And from there, I just became a businessman over time, because there's more that you can do by just doing your own stuff and making sure that you are actually living your dream instead of living someone else's dream. So that's how it all started. So the business was, it happened more like as well by accident. It started as a passion, and by accident because somebody came out and asked for help. And during the time, I was really happy with what I was doing. I was doing the small, I would say a sideline, a small business. But I saw that there was a bigger market out there that still remains untapped, which means I, being a chef, I'm able to do more things for the GCC market. So what was missing actually was somebody who could translate a Western or a French dessert into something that people could fall in love here in the GCC. So you are talking about nostalgia for the GCC market, how you can make a French dessert more approachable to, let's say, an Emirati person or even a Kuwaiti person. So I saw the gap, and that's when it happened by accident, because I met this businessman, and he owns a big business in Kuwait. And during that time, he was always asking for help from my ends. So it was a sideline, and right after I opened his business, I got a lot of calls from Lebanon, from Saudi Arabia, and I saw the big potential. So in a matter of, let's say, 3 years, I decided to just get off the side jobs and make it as a formal business. So that's how the Nifty Chef was born, basically. So I have now two businesses. So we have a consultancy business and I have a bake shop business. So the consultancy side is the business that helps other businesses make their dreams happen, because they don't have the capabilities that we have to help them achieve what they want. So they may be, let's say, very young entrepreneurs or people who have money and they want to spend in the food sector, but they don't have the capabilities to do that. So I come in, I make it happen for them. I create the menus, I train the chefs, and even help them with the design of the shop, and also guide them along the way how they should approach their business so that it becomes marketable to the industry. Because we have, to be honest with you, we have a long list of businesses in GCC that are really very popular, but we are kind of just working in the background with them because they are the star of the show. It's their dream, so we want it to happen. And also, as the offshoot of this service that we're offering, there were a lot of people asking like, how can we access your products, because you're always doing it for other people, so why don't you have your own business so we know exactly what you're made of. So from the consultancy, then the bake shop business was born as well. So with these two companies, it works in synergy because the bake shop can also support the business or clients from the consultancy who don't have a kitchen or who doesn't have any chefs to help them produce the items. So the bake shop is like the backbone for these new clients. So we produce the items for them and supply it to them. So they are really working as a synergy. So that's how the two businesses are working hand in hand. And what makes us different? It's because I am a Nifty chef, which means I know what the GCC market wants, and I have the heart of the Arabian people. So that's how things are quite different from us compared to other businesses in the region. In terms of the vision, I would say, I haven't even thought about what is the end game for my business, because there's a lot of things that are happening around in GCC. So it's still an endless market, or the possibility is still endless. So my vision is just to grow with the time and grow along with the vision of UAE, because UAE is always on the fast track, on the fast lane. So there's always new technology, new rules, and as well, they are becoming more open. So with the Dubai Expo that happened just a few months back, it also changed the way people are, the perceptions of the business. Even with COVID, UAE was still one of the pioneering countries that was able to get out of it and be back on its feet. So I think that the vision for my company is really pegged along as well with the vision of the country. So we're gonna go hand in hand, and that vision is on the, I would say, based on how we can be more successful in terms of creating new jobs, creating new opportunities, and as well inspiring the younger generation as well to follow suit. The team, I believe in having a multi-talented team and a multi-racial team as well, because it brings in a lot of, I would say, since I work along with nostalgia, I value everyone wherever they are from. So the team that I have now, they have their own strength because they bring their own culture, they bring their own ideas. And what I do as a leader, I don't call myself as a boss. I prefer more being called as a leader, because a leader inspires people and you also lead them to their own success. So I don't believe in putting my staff in their own capsule. I believe that they should also grow along with me, not just me growing up. They also need to grow up and be more successful. So I would say my team describe them to be people who knock on my door because they believe in their potential and that they know with me as being their leader, they could also be like me in the future. Since 12 years back, Dubai was different for sure. It was probably, I would say, because the business activity was smaller. And over time, you could probably see a lot of changes. And although we have, let's say, especially in this time of I would say during this later part of the years, we have seen a lot of problems with people who are scamming. Anyone who's living in Dubai or UAE, there's a lot of online scams and people are just tending to try to go beyond the measures of the country, try to violate them. But the good thing about 12 years ago and now is that you could still see that the government is doing its best to make sure that we are all protected. So they always put a system in place, and that's, I think, what's the beauty of UAE, because they have the resources, they have the manpower. So whenever something bad that's happening or potentially happening, there's always something that comes up. So it's kind of protecting all of us. That's probably why I call UAE as my second home even up to now, and I don't see myself leaving anytime soon, because I still feel secure despite all the challenges we're facing, despite all the threats that we hear, here and there. We don't see it really materializing in such a scale that scares all of us. I mean, we had a lot of economic fallouts, maybe twice, but we're still here, which means there's still a lot of things that can happen in UAE, because everyone still feels secure, because the country wants to make sure that we all survive. Well, I would say what I'm really grateful about UAE and the leaders, and as well the people who are making UAE happen, of course with the leadership of His Highness, is they always go with what needs to happen in the next 5 or 10 or 20 years. They have a vision. So I thank them for that, because if I'm gonna stay back home, I don't think I would be reaching what I have reached right now. I always call Dubai as the land that made my dreams come true, because it did. And it's continuing to make my dreams come true, even for my staff as well, and for other people or other businessmen who are in many other fields, not just in my own field. So I'm thankful for that, because that depth of gratitude is because they just made my life easier as a businessman. I know things are not always the same. We cannot compare apples to oranges, but still, if I compare UAE to other countries, I would still stick to UAE, because it's still a better place to be in terms of business. So I should be thankful for that, because they have given us, a good base for someone like me. So I'd be very thankful to my team who believe in me and who have supported me despite the odds and the challenges. And also, I owe it to my family for sure, because they have never let me down. They have never questioned whatever I've done. They have kept me independent. And also, I would say I thank God as well, to Allah or whoever we call God in our lives, because I think that a lot of things are happening also as a miracle, and there's a lot of divine intervention and things that you can never explain. So I don't believe in luck, really. I believe more in when you are really up to the task and praying for something that you want and you make it happen. I think it's more of having faith in something bigger than us. The way to get in touch with us is you can go to Instagram. We're very much on social media. You can type Chef.Nouel. Be careful with Noel, it's Nouel, it's not the typical Noel. And also you can check Nifty Chef for the bakehouse. And we don't have a physical shop. We are all like a cloud kitchen based operation. But for the office, you can always drop by at the downtown here in Dubai, which is very close to Burj Khalifa. And you can find out how we can help you and how we can make your dreams come true in terms of
يا كل هالعالم في دار تختصر عالم وقالب وصفها العالم دبي كوكب آخر دبي كوكب آخر على كثر المدى والضي في حضرة حسنها الساحر لكم يا ضيوف دار الحي سلاما يشرح الخاطر على كثر المدى والضي في حضرة حسنها الساحر لكم يا ضيوف دار الحي سلاما يشرح الخاطر هلا يا كل هالعالم في دار تختصر عالم وقالب وصفها العالم دبي كوكب آخر بهالقلوب